Good morning, good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Notre Dame fans. Whenever you're tuning into this week's Notre Dame football show, it could be live with us, watching this back on YouTube, listen to this as podcast, whatever the case may be. Really appreciate you for making us a part of your day. I'm Hyde Singer. I run our recruiting operation and YouTube channel at Blue and Gold. And with me on the screen is Tim Hyde, former high school and college, junior college coach out in the Golden State, and lifelong Notre Dame fan and Marine. Tim's got quite the background and pedigree. Great man as well. Great dad. Great set of hair. Great head of hair. Tim, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Speaking of California, where all those,
don't go there. Don't
go I was there. Gonna say, the little events happening. I literally worked. I had a family friend who owned a little shop in Paramount, so I used to be like a high school gig, literally just a couple blocks where everything's happening right now. So I was like, oh man, I've been around there a ton.
Anyways,
really, hey. But really good high school football in that area. We call that the Black and Blue League because it's just pure. You want to talk about old school Smash Mouth, Paramount, Compton, Dominguez, that whole region in there gets after it. So,
okay. Are we going to move on? 10, only bad things can happen. We're not touching. We're going to move on.
Into that. I'm just saying. I used to work down the street.
Let's talk some Notre Dame football. You're making me nervous.
Yeah, so.
I'm like half kidding.
But I was gonna say, you asked how I'm doing, and I was gonna make a joke. I'm doing better than D tackle recruiting, but we'll wait on that. It's probably too early for the fan base still, right? To wipe the wounds away. So I don't know.
Don't you like Tiki Hola? No, he's pretty good.
Hey, it's always one. You can always have one, right? But when you're trying to win titles, you want more than one. It always matters. But we'll get into that. After 40 years?
So they only have one interior defense lineman on the roster, and signing day is tomorrow. Like, come on,
Mike. Listen,
they can always go to the portal, as you say.
Right. We're not even on that topic yet, and I have
great
things ready to roll.
Great, can't wait. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this YouTube video. If you're listening to this as a podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. And if it asks you to fill out a reason why you're leaving a 5-star review, appreciate if you did that. You could talk about how handsome Tim is and how Mike has a face for radio. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel for more content if you have not done so yet. I want to start on this real quick, Tim. Notre Dame legends Manti Te'o and Todd Light make the 2026 College Football Hall of Fame ballots. Should they get in?
The problem is only one per school could get in at a per year. So I believe that's the rule. And if one gets in, I thought it was one gets in 1 year, you can't go in the next year. But didn't Terry Hanratty get in last year? Or was that 2 years ago? I don't know. So it's like a rotation. So you just can't have the same schools filling it up. But to answer your question, yeah, those two guys are. You're doing a Mount Rushmore of corners. Todd Light's on it.
Yeah.
You're doing a Mount Rushmore of.
Fill it out. Wait, fill out the corner one.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't, I got to break down the 1926 press man coverage, but but Todd Light,
yeah.
He's he's one of the all-time great headliners right there.
Yeah.
And then obviously Manti is without a doubt. Manti is on the Mount Rushmore probably of Notre Dame history, definitely defensive history. When you're looking at it, Mike, what he did in 2012 is
incredible.
Is incredible. Just absolutely incredible. So it's funny. Sue was up for a College Hall of Fame, and everyone always talks about his own. I think it was 2009. Heck of an 2009 season. You always hear about his year as defensive players. Not that there's any media bias, right? No one ever mentions Manti Te'o and his unbelievable defensive season. It's freakish. When you look at Notre Dame 12-0 that year, I know Johnny Football was a freakazoid. Should have been Manti. I don't care what anyone says. I would have voted him, especially a first true defensive football player. That was a heck of a season. But yeah. You got two of the greats right there. Hopefully one of them gets in. Manti's still young. Todd Light quit playing years ago, so
Yeah.
hopefully one of. I mean, they're both gonna get in, but Todd Light getting in, man, you just keep stacking in Lou Holtz guys during his era, which makes it even sadder. How the hell did they only win one title? But anyway, that's a whole topic for another show. But two, because I always count 93, but technically. But anyway, yeah, two greats. One of them's going to get in. And I say the whole thing on Teo because I know the media, all they talked about was all these other guys. I'm like, Manti Te'o's on the list. How the hell are you guys not talking about him? But that got me upset. But that's the Notre Dame homer in me.
I mean, so there's some football talk, talking about some past players. That might be it for the actual football team. It's recruiting from here on out. We haven't done a whole lot of recruiting. It's been for this show for several months. It's been kind of just like, let's talk about some news, or if we've talked about recruiting, it's been more of the big picture outlook. We're diving into the weeds, and we're going to start. I don't want to spend too much time on this just because we have a ton of official visitors to talk about for this weekend, but it was not a great results week for Notre Dame on defensive line recruiting. Mikhail Blade committed to Michigan, which, like, if he would have committed to Michigan like 3-4 months ago, I would have been like, that's a loss right there. Like, man, that stings. Kind of faded away between the two parties. Yeah, Notre Dame hadn't been in contact for a while, and I think he kind of caught on, and he was going to officially visit it next weekend. I don't know if he didn't commit to Michigan, he tried to go to Notre Dame on the 20th. I don't know if he would have been able to, for lack of a better term. I don't know. So Notre Dame kind of stopped recruiting Mikhail Blade, but because we've talked about him a lot on this YouTube channel and at Blue and Gold, wanted to mention him. Alistair Viejo, which is he's a 4-star now. Look at that. He was just 3-star yesterday. He's a 4-star today.
Shocking.
I think ESPN just ranked him, I'm guessing, because I don't think he was ranked by ESPN, because ESPN's awful with recruiting rankings. They just don't put much into it. So it's not like their guys are bad. I just don't think that they do a whole lot with it. So Alistair just committed to Michigan yesterday. Definitely a sting for Notre Dame. There's just no way around it. That one stung. And Kari Wilder, Tim, you can have your victory lap. But let me ask you this.
It's like
So at Sarah, does Ohio State get many guys? Like, is this like a unicorn commitment for Ohio State? Like, I did a little bit of research, not much, but I couldn't find much. I couldn't find anyone from Sarah to Ohio State. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
as soon as USC was out of the picture, I was like, it's Notre Dame or Ohio State, and he committed to Ohio State. And the Buckeyes just offered like 2 weeks ago.
I know. Seriously, it's been less than. It's been let's just say a month. They just started contacting him a month ago, but
Notre Dame was in March or February.
That's the power of Ohio State. I mean, it's easy as that. They crank out, which goes to the whole big picture of defensive line. You got Ohio State cranks out D linemen to the NFL, and Notre Dame averages basically less than one a year over the last 20. So difference of right there, when you look at obviously the NFL production. And yeah, I mean, Gardena Sarah is Skull Altenberg, the head coach here, has been there 20-something years. Unbelievable dude. Great football players. It's a football school. Those kids crank out football players like flapjacks at a diner, man. They just football dudes everywhere. So I know I said I put them on the Mount Rushmore. I love Mount Rushmore, by the way. My brother went there last year and sent me a ton of videos. Gardena Sarah is definitely on the Mount Rushmore. When Mike Singer, Kyle Kelly writes about it, I'm not clicking it. So it's just not going to click it because it's not happening. They're one of those schools. Hate to say that. So I think Notre Dame's offered a couple for 27. I'm not clicking it. So others can click it, Mike, because you do write great stories. Tim Hyde will not. When I see Gardena Sarah, it's just the way it is. So when he goes, and I'm with you, the fact that when SC bounces out, you're like, man, Notre Dame's got a shot because he wants to get out of state, basically. So, but the Buckeyes are the Buckeyes. That's probably not a popular statement for Notre Dame fans, but it's Ohio State. Yeah. And all they do is crank out W's and NFL players, and that's a pretty easy sell.
So and then Vallejos
Real
committing
quick,
to
real quick on that, because I know you had your little your hot index, or what did you call it? The
sting level.
yes, I actually yes.
You like that?
Yes, I do. Out of the three, I would say it's him, just because Ohio State just showed up and says, "Hey, we're the Buckeyes. You want to play for us?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happened. It literally
Let me,
happened that quick.
let me pull up this so you guys can see what we're talking about. So I did like I'm not going to show the article. It's a premium article at balloongold.com. Please consider subscribing to the website. I talked about, was it 4 guys? Yeah. Kari Wilder, Mikhail Blade, Alistair Vallejos, and Cohen Brown, the wide receiver committed to Texas, and like gave some intel and ranked how bad is this sting on a scale of 1 to 10. And yeah, Vallejos was the highest. So you had like a range from 3.5 to 8. And yeah, like Blade might be ranked the highest of that group, I think,
He's not
but
that bad.
like he was not the biggest priority for Notre Dame. Like, yeah, Wilder stung, and Vallejos stung, but for different, like even different reasons. Like
Wilder, see, for me on your list, I saw your list. Wilder be number one, just because it's Gardena Sarah, so damn close to get in there and just get a guy out of that great high school football program. And they worked hard. They worked their tails off to get him. It didn't happen. I would put Brown at number 2, because isn't he good buddies with it's Osborne, right?
mhm.
And he decommits from SC. Whoa. You just think he's coming to Notre Dame. Or at
Yeah,
least it's not
yeah,
so much he's coming to Notre Dame, but it happened so quick with Osborne. The setup with Notre Dame, you just had a feeling
and
that's
made
going to
it.
happen. They've had good success in Texas. Freeman's really working hard in Texas, Freeman and his staff. And it's like, once again, the Longhorns steal him. Not steal him, but they're the Texas Longhorns. They're in state. That's an
That's
easy deal.
that he wanted to go to Texas. Like that was just that simple. Like he wanted
It
to go to
happened.
Texas.
But on the Sting meter, because Notre Dame, you know, wide receiver recruiting and D tackle
I,
recruiting, what's
yeah.
worse? I don't know.
Well, I wrote like the Brown one, and I mean even Alistair and Mikhail, like it can change. Like if you get Caden Finley, then Cohen Brown's sting level's a 1. But if you don't get him, and it's like, damn, could have had Cohen Brown. Like now it's like a 9. So
and
it kind of depends. But in this moment, it's somewhere in between.
and with Blade, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan of guys not playing a whole year, so which he really didn't. And
Injury related, but
yeah, I mean, good solid sophomore film. I'm not being Debbie Downer saying, oh, because he went to Michigan. That's just me. He didn't play a year. What are you evaluating him off of? Plus, as negative as it is, which it has been, it feels like, because Notre Dame, obviously, we want to get everybody. So, but Notre Dame, man, they got basically 2 5-stars from on 3. The 2 North Carolina guys are both ranked in the top 32 when it comes to on 3 rankings, and so your DNs are kind of set. Anyone extra is a luxury. So your goal was 2, and you still have Bryce Young, you still have Logan Thomas, you still have some of the young guys
yeah.
On the roster from the last few years, and then at D tackle, obviously you got Tiki Hola.
Yeah.
So you just want to get some more, and that's where Alistair. Yeah, I think he's a freaking stud. I really do. I think he's super, super talented, and it's Michigan, and they got him. They offer on a Sunday. Notre Dame offered on a Monday. 3 months later, he picked Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so the D-line recruiting discussion, like it's a really, I get the frustration. It's like, man, this just happened. Like we just, Blade is perceived as a top target. And I'll keep things straight with you guys. Like Vallejos and Wilder stung. Mikhail Blade did not. And I don't, we didn't want him anyway. Like I'm not that guy. I'm gonna shoot with you guys straight on this, if it's a loss or if it's not. And I like to think I'm pretty well connected. So these things I'm not just pulling out of my rear. So but yeah, you do have, so like people are like down on Al Washington right now. It's like the highs are so high and the lows are so low. It's like, man, got to roll the punches, move forward, see what happens. Like Notre Dame does have a 5-star at the end, and then they have another who might be a 5-star, and Ebenezer Uatade, and of course, Rodney Dunham is the 5-star. Tiki Hola is like a, what's his ranking? It's like almost a 4, or, it depends on what website you look at right now. And then, which in like a month, On3's recruiting rankings guys are moving to Rivals, because On3 now owns Rivals. So I think the On3's own rankings is going away, and it's essentially moving to Rivals. And the Rivals ranking, like the 5.8 5 or 4-star Tim, and 5.9 4-star, that whole scale, that is the worst thing of all time and should have been deleted 20 years ago. So On3's getting rid of that and doing the On3 scale. So I don't know if that all makes sense, but yeah, I mean, the people on the message board at Blue and Gold are like, take 8 defensive linemen, take them all. It's like, it's just, guys, it's not. USC might. Notre Dame's not going to. The number is like 4 to 5. So, like, people are like upset that Notre Dame's missing out and not getting 6. Like, that Notre Dame was not ever going to take 6. It's 4 to 5, preferably 5, 2 DNs, a couple of interior guys, and then Elijah Golden, who's visiting next weekend, is like a swing guy who could play either. Think like Riley Mills at different points in his career. So, yeah, I mean, like, I feel like if Notre Dame would have landed Viejo, we would have had people upset. So when he committed to Notre Dame, he was an On3 issue ranking 3-star. People would have been upset that Notre Dame just got a 3-star commitment. But now people are upset that they didn't get the 3-star commitment. I'm like, I don't know. There's no winning on some of this stuff, but it's just like, guys, there's an overreaction. It's like, is it over? Is signing day here? Is it signing day, or is it June 11th? Like, let's see what they do from here. Everyone relax.
Well, let me jump on the pro message board, guys, and the way they're feeling. No one would have complained of Alistair, because then you got your 2 bookends out of Carolina, and you got 2 stud interior Texans, Mike. So there's your 4. The problem, I can't believe I'm sticking up for the message board. It must be an
apocalypse. I know you and Onward to Victory are probably, having a powwow, hug it out right now.
That guy kills me. But anyway, the stick up for all the message board, the Twitter, all the YouTube guys, all that stuff. Problem is you're at 3. And it feels like who's left, because if you read the tea leaves, Notre Dame's behind, I would say, on those guys that you listed, from what it sounds like.
I think Quinn, they're behind
Clemson lean. Let's say Golden. To me, Golden, if he goes to Alabama, that's 0 shock value.
No, zero shock. But it's probably around a coin flip.
But they got rid of, Clark's not, they kind of cooled on him. And then if you go on the offer list, Mike, there's nobody.
There's
nobody. So
Marcus Almada is a name to know, but otherwise, they'll have to offer some more guys.
So let me dive into this for a second here, because I love D-line. The issue that, once again, my lovely guys on the message board, I love you all, is Notre Dame D-tackle recruiting has been 3-star nation. Okay? And 3-star nations at Notre Dame now do not go to the NFL. All right? I went all the way back to Justin Tuck in 2005. He was a 3-star, skinny 200-pound basketball player, developed, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Since Justin Tuck, 16 defensive linemen drafted in the NFL out of Notre Dame, from Victor Abiamiri, Derek Landry, Derek Law, Trevor Laws, all the way up to Riley Mills. Mike, 15 out of those 16 are blue chips. The only 3-star is Ogie Deji. I'm always horrible saying his name. And 2021 was a 3-star. And all Notre Dame has been signing is a boatload of 3-star developmental guys. Okay? So once again, you start piling this in, how are you going to try and compete for a national title if all your recruiting in the interior are 3-stars? And the data shows the blue chip. If you're a blue chipper, you go to Notre Dame, the odds of you getting drafted are extremely high. If you're a 3-star, no. And that's just the data. It's not fun, but hold on real quick. Someone posted in the chat, I want to give you a high five. Next year's D-tackle depth scares the living hell out of probably every single Notre Dame fan, but maybe one. Okay? Because you're losing some dudes. And the only guys they've the only guys they've signed are a bunch of dudes ranked 500 and lower. I mean, Seviano, Cole Mullins, you hope Seviano's just an A-gap guy. That's it to me. Dixon, Reef, Solstead this year, 100% developmental guys. You got the great class. Marcus Freeman's first class is Brennan Vernon, we've never heard from, blue chip. Devin Houston, we've never heard from, moved to offensive line. And Armel Mukum, 3-star. We're hoping he's a third stringer this year. So, and then before that, it's Tyson Ford, never played it down. And then Donovan Heinisch. Donovan Heinisch is the only D tackle who's played since Freeman's been at Notre Dame. I'm just saying, I think that's what scares Notre Dame fans are. Who in the hell's playing inside when Anye leaves, the Louisville guy leaves, Rubio leaves. Obviously, Botello's going to leave on the edge, but they have some good young edge guys. It's that interior. And I'm just saying, who is it going to be? Because right now, none of those guys, Mike, are really in the top 5.
Okay.
Coming into 25. So there you go.
All right. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just looking at this class in a vacuum. Tim, you're going all of the
picture because this class is only one guy. It's only one guy, and you just lost.
And they just need one more. Like, that's the goal. It's take one more. So and it's really what they do.
So let's be honest. Everything's on Golden out of Florida. Everything's on him, because if it's not him, they're going to get me.
Okay. All right.
And no one wants him playing nose guard.
Let's say they don't get Elijah Golden.
Oh, yeah. Then
hang it up. Stop recruiting everyone. Don't try to flip anyone. Just call Pete Bavacca. Tell him cancel our reservations to the college football playoffs for the next 5 years. Just take away the hotel reservation. We're done. We can't do it. We can't do it because in the 2026 class, we only took one defensive lineman on the interior in June. Right? Just cancel it. Blow up the program.
Hold on, Mike.
Come on. We gotta calm down a little bit. Notre Dame's played for national championship with those interior defensive linemen.
Yeah. And they went to the national championship with Cross and Mills, NFL guys who were also 4-stars. So look at that. And they're gone. So this year, they should be solid. They're losing a ton. And now the question I see from Notre Dame fans are, who in the heck's playing? So yes, you could go to the portal, but we know damn well the elite D tackle portal guys, those are SEC guys getting cash. Is Notre Dame going to be cranking out cash? Now, obviously, money's all around. Everyone's got the same. How does that start to work? Is Notre Dame able to get a South Carolina I'm just throwing out a school, a South Carolina transfer that enters the portal, and he's got 5 heavyweights after him right away. So what are the odds of Notre Dame pulling that guy? I'm just saying that's what fans are starting to look at. So this recruiting class, yes, 3 really good ones. And damn well a week ago, everyone was like, dude, the D-line room was stacked on the recruiting. Now it's like crickets, and you're hoping one of the couple that are visiting stays. That's where the frustration is, I believe.
Yeah, this is just such a funny thing that it's like we're either like, this is the best thing ever, we're landing everyone, let's talk shit to the rival fan bases that we're going up against for recruit, like, and then when we have a little setback, we all piss our pants.
But the setback is, who is the backup? Who are the next in line? And the next in line, Mike, looks like Notre Dame is behind on all those guys. Can they win them? Sure. It's Southern guys, though, and that's what's scary. And the Southern guys, it's a hell of a lot easier to stay down south than go
Elijah Golden, a Virginia native. I will say.
Yeah. So the DMV has been not a good place to Notre Dame over the years. So there's that, and Florida.
Yeah, Notre Dame's had some success in Virginia. Not as much recently. But it's just like, look, I am all for, I'm just calling a spade here. Not good things this week. Blade, that's fine. That's no big deal. Viejo stings. Wilder stings. Wilder's a freak show. But like, I'm not panicking yet. I'm not panicking.
No,
If
because
Elijah Gould commits to Alabama this weekend, I am more panicking. But also, we still got a half dozen years. Like we got 6 months. You know, we
exactly.
got a
So
while to see what happens.
So it's now you're going to get down into Mike Martin, Matt Jansen scouting department territory, using their NFL expertise. Are they able to go steal a guy away from Iowa? Are they able to go get a guy away from Baylor? I'm once again just throwing out schools. Someone that they project down the road, can they steal those guys? Obviously, trying to go down into the South and steal a blue chip guy, those are hard. Those are damn hard. And Notre Dame, when you really look at it, I mean, I'm an offer guy. I like going on the offer list. That's my favorite thing to go to on the On3 page. It's the best thing. It's awesome. You go on the offer list, you get to see who's who, see who's recruiting, such and such, who's guys that never even blinked at Notre Dame, and it just seems light. So that's just my little high five to the message board and the YouTube fanatics that are frustrated. And I could see there's a lot of the reasons why, because when the vast majority of your D tackle recruiting under Marcus Freeman and Al Washington are guys ranked 500 and lower, people are going to be like, well, what are we doing here? And we haven't seen anyone even take a snap yet. And I'm not counting Army Navy in the fourth quarter. So I'm talking about real football snaps.
Yeah. Armel Malcolm, for what it's worth, have heard really encouraging things about him. And I think Elijah Hughes, who does have 2 years, I don't think he's going to be an impact guy this year, but I think he's going to develop. Maybe he'll be a guy later in the season you start to see come along. I feel like Gabriel Rubio, being that. Maybe that's some due to injury, but sure. Rubio really came along after his time away from the program. But
yeah, and my last 2 seconds on this is it's hell of a 2024. We know they're going to be a preseason top 5, 6, 7 team this year. Keep the ball rolling, but you got to keep the ball rolling, hoping some of these guys pan out. And that 26 class has to be dudes that could come in and play.
Yeah.
Or at least have a shot at playing and show out you have a guy. And me, I always talk about, wait till they're 3 years. But the problem is we're starting to get into some of these 3 years. Marcus Freeman's in his 5th year. One is DC. This is his 4th year as a head coach. And there's a lot of recruiting under him that's been really dry at some certain positions. So, but that's why you have the portal. And curious to see how the Louisville and the USC transfer truly play this year.
Yeah, Dawson.
Yeah. It's worked with Oben, and it's worked with JJB, who got
worked
drafted.
For Oben for a play.
You know what? He gets a raw deal, but I'll tell you what Oben did, and I respect the hell out of this. He ate up snaps. If you did not have RJ Oben, me personally,
you would have had a different transfer.
Okay, but who?
He was available. He was available, but dude,
exactly. But he was hold on, but he was one of the top ones, and I'm saying he was a rep eater. He was very physical, played his butt off on the run. Wasn't the pass rusher we expected.
Yeah,
but he ate up reps, and he's not there. You're not going to the title with. Because remember, Bryce Young was 3rd string. For as much as we love to talk about him, he was 3rd string. So I don't know if you're going to the title with Josh Burnham as your starting D end, and then forcing Bryce Young to play even more snaps as a true freshman. So I always give respect to Oben just because of the reps he ate up to allow the depth in those young guys to develop. So it's just my little hot take.
I think where I differ from some of you guys is, we didn't land these guys. It's bad. It's done. And I for the greater defensive line recruiting discussion, totally get it. I'm more in a vacuum. Let's talk about 2026. Like Tim, for Sarah, you're like, Notre Dame doesn't land Sarah kids. I don't care if they recruit Sarah. They're not going to get the Sarah kid. They had him for an unofficial. Like they're gonna have it for a no official. Like I got a report on it. Like I got to tell you guys what I'm hearing.
They had a Gardena Sarah guy on campus. That's a huge W.
They were in the kids' top 2. Like I'm going to report on it, but like I'm not like they didn't land. Alistair Viejo was a 3-star yesterday. I'm soiling my pants, and this is it. Like I'm like, if they don't get Elijah Golden, I'm still not freaking out, but I'm
Don't
a
worry,
little bit.
the fans will do it for you. So they will.
Just
Yeah.
one Andy Gal, appreciate the $7 super chat. House settlement does not mean everyone's the same. No regulations or limits on private money.
No, it's true. I mean, when I say everyone's the same, everyone's got the 20.5 mil. So, and then I'm not saying it's 20.5 for football. It's 20.5 to spend, obviously, amongst the sports you choose to. Notre Dame is going to spend a lot of that on football. Alabama is, Georgia is, Clemson is, USC is, on and on and on and on and on. And then obviously, then you have your NIL. Yes, I understand that. But when I say the same, you're starting at least the core, the base, the spend. It's up to each school. So close, Mike. I've been on mute the whole time. So, but anyway, so that's the base. But I do see what you're saying. NIL is going to be big. Still going to be big for the Texans and the Oregons and all those guys.
Killface is just having a grand time in the comments. He said he heard the same thing last year and they ended up with Solstead. All right. If you're going to say that about Gordy Solstead, if that kid becomes really good, Killface, you're not even allowed to cheer for him then. You know what? Like, I don't know, man. It's just like,
but
some kids, it's just like, oh, I don't like his ranking or his offer list, so I'm not feeling the kid. Like, come on.
But Notre Dame fans are going to root for the guy, and obviously he goes and plays. They're going to root for him. My point is, certain schools. That's why Kerry Wilder went to Ohio State. They crank out NFL guys, and if Notre Dame signs a guy who's number 892, the odds of him going to the NFL are 1%. But if you get a guy that's ranked 220 or 125 or 275, the odds of him going to the NFL are a hell of a lot higher. And I know stars do matter at certain things. So,
certain things,
but for whatever reason, they sure as hell matter at Notre Dame. Notre Dame cranks out more blue chips to the NFL than they do 3 stars. So whatever reason, they matter at Notre Dame. They just do when you look at the history.
Yeah. I mean, Gordy Solstead, knee injury for senior year. Who knows where he's at? It's just like, I don't know. I just do not like judging unfinished things. Tim, you always say, go eat, get your ass kicked on scout team. We'll see you in 3 years, right? You say that in so many videos. Why are we judging Gordy Solstead and Davian Dixon right now? Like, I don't know, man. I know that you just talked about the data on the blue chips. I get it. But it's not like, oh, if a kid misses a tackle, you're like, 3-star. Like I don't know, man. The kids can play.
It's getting Notre Dame to a spot they haven't been since the early 90s with Lou Holtz. Fans got a taste. They want more. And it's like, let's just keep going.
Listen,
that's what they're looking for. Mike, there's a lot of projects. Notre Dame's cranking out a lot of projects in some of these classes.
Tim, if the goal is it's national champion, you win a national championship, or I am not happy, brother. Like, guys, I mean, if Goolsby talks about a championship lens, but if it is winning a national championship or I am unhappy in my fandom, I mean, that's tough. That's a tough way to look at it. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but like, you're just going to be unhappy because Notre Dame is going to take 3 stars. They just are.
Everybody
is. Scalding is good.
Georgia's had a few. Clemson, Dabo's been a king at getting some 3 stars, getting them through the NFL. And you're talking about unhappy fan base. Hell, Georgia waited 40 years. Georgia waited 40 damn years until they got over the hump. So, I mean, Penn State, as much as I hate the Nittany Lions, they're dying. I mean, they haven't won one since '86. They're obviously going to be a preseason top 3 team this year. So they're close as hell, they feel, with all the talent they got coming back. So, yeah, those fans, man, when you start waiting that long, it's like being a Red Sox fan, a Cub fan, all that stuff, waiting and waiting and waiting. You're going to root like hell. You're going to be excited and all that. But at the end of the day, you don't win. You're like, damn it, another year. So you just keep rooting. And then eventually you get to that part where, I hope my grandpa gets to see another one. So, and I think the Notre Dame fandom, the old guys like me that have been around, and then the tons of young guys all over social media and the message board that, their best win is the USC lost in 05. They have until obviously the Georgia, the Sugar Bowl, and the Orange Bowl. That's what it's been. Seriously, the best win's been the 05 loss. And Notre Dame fans are craving for that more because we've got a taste. You got a taste of that in the playoffs.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good discussion. Good 30-minute discussion.
Yeah. Didn't plan on it. It's supposed to be more like 5. But
I told you it was going to go longer because I knew we were going to go some different avenues on there, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's so funny on this because like either people be too excited about something. I'm like, all right, we gotta bring this down a little bit, or we're on this angry end about something. I just do think it's an overreaction, like not landing Alistair Viejo and Kari Wilder, and like now we're just so upset. Like we have so much time, like just let it play out a little bit. Like, let's just see. It's just a different mindset. And Tim, the points you're arguing is more popular right now. And it is what it is. I mean, just how you view things. Just like if we don't win it, Notre Dame could go undefeated next regular season, go to the national championship game, lose by a point. And some people will just be like, that was a waste of season. If that's how you view things,
Oh, it's not a waste. Are you kidding me? People are excited to high hell.
I agree with you, but I'm saying some people, Tim, if that's their mindset, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Let's hear from Augie's locker room. What do they got? Notre Dame Jeremiah Love signed photo, 8x10, $85. You can get a 2010 Harrison Smith game used Notre Dame Adidas jersey. Jimmy Clausen. And I mean, this is obviously verified stuff here. Ethan Johnson helmet from 2011. Get some 2X used team issued Notre Dame gloves. I mean, guys, just go to augieslockerroom.com, stroll the online store. You're going to absolutely love it. And if you're in town, go to Augie's Locker Room, which is just drove by it when I was in town over the weekend. It's I don't actually have my ad read in front of me. It was 1733 North Ironwood Drive. 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend. Give Augie a call, 574-277-6363. Summer hours, Monday through Saturday, 10:30 to 4. And then he's in on Sunday, 11 to 4. So especially if you're in town for a game, you really need to go to Augie's Locker Room. Tell him Mike Singer from Blue and Gold sent you. Check out everything he's got. augieslockerroom.com, 574-277-6363. Folks who are watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Tim, a huge recruiting weekend. So, like, just like in talking about the recruiting classes, and you get so hyped up with early commitments, and then you lose some guys in June. It's just inevitable. Notre Dame is not going to land everyone we're about to talk about, and who visits next week. Notre Dame's not going to land all these guys, but you definitely want a higher hit rate on, like if we thought that not getting Alistair Viejo and Kari Wilder, 2 guys that Notre Dame fans hadn't heard of 2 months ago. What about Caden? Like, what if they don't get Caden Finley or Joey O'Brien? Like, it's gonna be interesting because Notre Dame's in a dogfight for these top talents, and I mean, this is make or break time, Tim. Like, this is where your class goes from good. You're the number 4 class in the country right now by the On3 entry ranking, but this thing could go to 10 or 11 in the blink of an eye.
This has been the June under Freeman the last few years, right? You're top 5 and hey, we're 12. So, but start throwing out the guys. This guy right here is an absolute stud.
Real quick, let me just scroll the chat real quick. Lotus, I did not post the Sunday show on podcast because it would have been a terrible podcast. Me and Kyle were just looking at videos the entire time. It would have been terrible for a podcast. Did you end up watching it at all, Tim?
No, it's on my list. I told you
it was terrible.
Yeah, you told me it was a good one, so I definitely want to watch it.
I thought it was terrible.
So,
watch it. But let me just say this. um, about following recruiting. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's two things about following recruiting. One, you're a much more knowledgeable Notre Dame fan. Like, you know so much about CJ Carr. You've been following him for 3 years already. Whereas your buddy, who just watches the games and maybe reads an article here or there, or just sees a Facebook post, he just learned about CJ Carr, like maybe a year ago. Like, there's a little bit, like, you're a smarter fan when you follow recruiting. And two, this now becomes a 365-day a year thing when you follow recruiting. Like, you just have more Notre Dame football on a daily basis.
That's why we're here. That's why everyone's
consuming
this stuff.
I know I'm kind of
right?
preaching to the choir here, but maybe there's some people, they don't have anything else going on. It's just like, I'll tune into Singer.
People love it, man. They want to hear who it is because they want to think about the future and be excited.
Yeah.
So it's always about that.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and then like when you watch an Auburn game or wherever Deuce Knight ends up playing, if it's not Auburn, you're gonna be like, you can tell your buddies a story about Deuce Knight. They don't know. They didn't follow recruiting. You're just a better fan or crazier. One of the two. Okay, let's talk about Kari Adams. 6'1", 180 pounds. Okay, we're going in alphabetical order here.
Gotcha.
Adams first up, the number 8 corner in the country. What a freak show this kid is. Rivals. This kid might be a 5-star when On3's rankings become Rivals rankings in a month. Number 30 overall player by On3 right now. So yeah, it's like really what you say about Kari Adams' recruitment is very similar to Joey O'Brien's, who we'll get to in a bit. It's like Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon. And those are definitely 3 schools, Michigan as well to an extent, but
just trip to Michigan, I believe.
It seems like Notre Dame, I think it's Notre Dame or Penn State at the end of the day, Tim. I think we'll just kind of like, I'll talk about each kid's recruitment and then we'll pop on the film and you can tell us about the player. But, I don't have a great pulse on this recruitment, but I think that Notre Dame's got a pretty good chance here, to at least be like a top 2 school, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, let's be the top one because he's damn good, man. He is. Well, this goes. I mean, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I know everyone, gives the crown jewel to Mickens, but it's like, who's in this DB class? Because once again, it's about stacking. You got 2 studs already in fold, right? I love Smith out of Tennessee, and Pouncey's Pouncey. I mean, he's a dude. Just say the name, he's a dude. So, but after these couple guys, Mike, who's the plan Bs if this guy's going to Penn State and O'Brien's chilling at Clemson or wherever it is? So that starts to be here. But if you land these guys, man, Mike, how is it not the best DB class in the country? That's what's exciting for Notre Dame fans. You get Smith, who they beat out Michigan and Clemson for. Pouncey, they beat dudes for to get him. Yeah. He's an absolute stud. O'Brien and Adams, you have 4 legitimate blue chip, top 100 top football players, and athletic wise, where Pouncey and O'Brien can play anything they want. Look at Adams scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, is this just receiver film?
Yeah, he's not, dude. He is a dude. Absolute fun to watch, athletic as can be, super talented football player. So this, once again, it's the same as the D tackle recruiting. You just want to keep stacking guys. Mickens is producing DBs like crazy now. Kari Adams, come here, bam, join the group. Joey O'Brien, join the group. So that's what's exciting because this legitimately, this DB haul is going to be better than last year's if they get these 2. Yeah. That's what's exciting. And last year's was unbelievable. There's already going to be guys in that class we know damn well are going to play at Notre Dame. So
maybe even as a freshman.
About this, so you don't want to lose them to Penn State and Michigan. So this is gonna be a battle, but it's worth it. He's a legit 5-star caliber football player.
Yes, he is. And I kind of view this one like, if Notre Dame gets him, great. But I'm like, is it only going to be like, would it be like the sting factor would be probably a little bit lower just because I don't know. This would be just like a nice bonus.
But who's the corner and your safeties? You have 2. You have a couple of elite guys. This is going. Notre Dame, especially the last 2 years, they're NFL dudes and top mean, they were number one in the country last year, in interceptions, number one in the country last year in completion percentage, top 5 in yards per attempt. All these metrics, DB wise, they are getting it done. So they're getting it done with dudes. These aren't just your run of the mill guys that they're developing over 6 years. No, these guys are coming in and playing right away.
Yeah, Chess Smith is a darn good one.
Yes,
it's been committed for a while, and then Aiden Pouncey's actually coming in as a corner. So you have 2 corners. So it's more about safeties. Although Pouncey can play really anywhere. Dude's a freak.
Yeah.
And then but him and Joey O'Brien, they're fairly similar players, but they could play corner or safety. So, when you say if they lose all 3 of these guys, like it's a problem, and it's like the 3 that is visiting this weekend that we're going to go through. But I mean, then you pick up the pieces and you move on. I don't know.
No, I feel you. I feel you. And then I feel you. I mean, obviously they've hit this, this portal for a nickel every year, safety every year. So obviously that's been it's probably going to keep continuing, but but these guys are super, super athletic.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward. What a freaking big recruiting weekend this is. So let me just kind of back up for a second. So Notre Dame flies the kids in on Thursday. I think this is 2 or 3 years now. I think you could do this. The 48-hour official visit window starts when the kid maybe first makes contact with the coach or steps into the. I'm gonna mute you real quick, Tim. A little feedback. Just steps into a building right on campus or something. I don't know. In the athletic, in the Goog. Notre Dame flies them in on Thursday. So some of the recruits will get in at 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock on Thursday, get to the hotel, and they just hang out. All the recruits hang out with each other. And then Friday at 7 a.m., their official visits start, and then they leave, Sunday, 48 hours later on Sunday. So I've been able to get the itinerary for a recruit before on a Notre Dame official visit. And dude, it is mapped out to every 5. It's a full ass page, a full ass thing for one day. I mean, we're talking 5-10 minutes. It is maxed out. These kids do a ton in 48 hours. So, I mean, this is, for lack of better terms, kind of where boys become men, man. This Notre Dame class, I touched on this a minute ago. You want to stay around the top 5 class, you need to land Kari Adams, Caden Finley, Joey O'Brien, Grayson McHugh, Evan Jacobson. You need to land at least half. You can't go over. You can't land just 2 of 7, and it's the 3-star guys. If you want that top class, you gotta have a better hit rate. You just think back to last year's wide receiver, right? Last year's wide receiver class is very similar to this D-line discussion we're having now, Tim, about man, it's they struck out, but if you can land Derek Meadows, everything's going to be okay. And they didn't. And then, you end up with Scrap Richardson, Jerome Bettis, and Elijah Burst. We'll see how that group ends up doing down the road. Okay. Caden Finley, Tim, Aledo, Texas. This is a crucial one. And it looks like Notre Dame and Texas, and then A&M is kind of a dark horse of sorts. I actually feel pretty good about Caden Finley. Maybe I'm too optimistic, Tim, but
I love it.
Dude, what he is telling folks around the Notre Dame football program, what he's saying to commits is very encouraging. And he was just here at the beginning of June for an unofficial, just to hang out. He wanted to get a better feel for the players. That seems like I'm very serious about committing to the school if you do that. So, Tim, how big of a visit is this for the Irish?
I was going to say the same thing. The fact that, and he came up to Notre Dame after, I believe, is Texas official, correct? Unofficially, right? No?
He visits Texas next weekend.
Okay, gotcha. I thought he had been at Texas. Maybe it was Texas for an unofficial.
It's UCLA or something.
It just felt like Texas was getting a lot of mojo. And then next thing you know, he's chilling at the Goog on his own dime, came up to, like you're saying, come up and see the fellas for a little while. So That's pretty impressive, man, because it's not easy getting to South Bend. So that's pretty cool. Well, if there's ever God, man, I don't jinx it, Tim, but what the hell, I'll jinx it. If there's ever a day one football player, it's him. It was the same thing we said about Jaden Greathouse. We said that about Flores. Just the film they produced, the fundamentals they played with, you could tell they were going to play early. And I see the same thing with Finley. His skill set, his athleticism. He's an early, I'm on the field football player for Notre Dame. And that's why this is so important, because you don't want to go keep trying to find a quarterback and teach him how to play wide receiver. It's like, we need a damn wide receiver that could come in and play wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I feel he's that type of football, not wide receiver. He's very much like Greathouse and just the skill. I mean, this is the wide receiver fundamentals. We saw it with Greathouse. You see it with Finley, and obviously the competition, the Texas, and they go into Texas, and if they could pull him out, and then Greathouse is a junior, Texas, Finley a freshman, and you start building this Texas pipeline. That's why Viejo was a kick in the pants, because you just keep trying to crank that Texas feeling. So, but he's super talented. He's a day one. I'm going to be in the two deep type of rotation, top 5 wide receiver, I feel, for Notre Dame.
This kid's ready to go. Yes. Very similar to Greathouse, like very polished, can play at the biggest level, outstanding route runner, great size, catches the ball very well, 100%. And I think Finley actually has Greathouse looks to be a pretty special talent. But I think Finley could be better. Like, he's as good as they get. And I would describe him as gritty, Tim. Really good blocker.
Yeah, gritty. Lines up properly. He's got good foot placement outside of the hash.
Good stance.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Notre Dame fans are like, oh wow, he's a good stance guy. So
Tim,
there's been a lot of good stance guys at Notre Dame. Let's get some damn wide receivers, for crying out loud, okay? So
didn't we say that in the last week's show? I think
probably.
Tim, one of the more fun players to watch in this class, especially among the guys in Notre Dame's recruiting, is Preston Frizzell, who the Irish offered, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. 6'4", 215 pounds, from Central Catholic in Toledo. Notre Dame, Miami, Iowa battle. And yeah, he's kind of like, people have been talking about like the Jack Larson comp for Preston, just because he's like a receiving tight end. But yeah, he's like Jack Larson, but 3 inches taller. And I love Jack. I'm actually hearing pretty good things about Jack Larson, by the way. But yeah, Preston Frizzell, low ranking. On3's got him as the number 17 tight end in the country, though. That means the number 16 tight end in the country is a 4. So Frizzell he's very close to being a 4 by On3 for what it's worth. 6'4", 215 pounds. Tim, I logged a prediction for Notre Dame to land Frizzell. He's supposed to officially visit Iowa next weekend. I think Notre Dame's doing a better job recruiting him. I think that Notre Dame gets this one wrapped up in the near future. So what do you think about Preston Frizzell? Would you like this get for the Irish if this happens?
You just say, hey, Iowa wants him. Okay, that's all you need to know. Iowa kicks out NFL tight ends, like it's cool. I mean, they take every 1.5 star and like, you're going to the NFL. So that's a positive right then and there. So no, you know what? I watched him this morning really for the first time. I had a little break and I was like, oh, let me check this guy out. This dude could run and catch. So definitely in the hash, a slot type of a guy. I'm really curious to see the height on him, to see what is his true height, because I know Notre Dame measures all those guys. So that would be fascinating to get. There's a one-handed catch in here that's like, how the hell did you do that? In the back of the end zone down here in the right corner on one of these plays coming up. So no, he's a pass catching wide receiver. He's going to be a motion guy, a shift guy. He's not as big as Mitchell Evans, but he reminded me just the way he moves, and because Mitch, I'm saying.
Did you know that Mitchell Evans, when he came to Notre Dame,
I was going to say I put myself in hell the last few nights. I've been rewatching Ohio State. Why? I have no idea, but I am. and Mitch Evans is just motioning all over, and he reminded me a little bit of him, that type of movement tight end. So look at that catch. Look at that.
Tim, do you know that Mitchell Evans didn't work out really in high school? Like he got to Notre Dame, he didn't really even know how to work out.
Exactly.
Like, people are talking about in the chat, oh man, he's 215 pounds. You're gonna need to put on weight. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
He's going into a senior year of high school.
But some of those recruiting things, man, those are, I mean, who knows when that weight was updated. That's why it's important on these visits to get height. Wait, I'm curious with his height. So he does not look like Jacobson, Jacobson looks like Kyle Rudolph. So I'm curious what his height is, but very talented, a true hash to hash seam out, vertical type of a tight end with really, really talented hands. So really, just your old school middle of the field tight end is what he looks like.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome. Like
he is.
If he was a let's say Notre Dame was recruiting him as a wide receiver, and this was a take, it's like, it's a boundary guy, not super fast, but a good solid boundary wide receiver. It would be like, all right, I'll take it. You need more than just him, but and he's a tight end, and he's going to grow, and he's going to get bigger, and he's got a lot. He looks great, and he comes from a great town. Tim, I know you wanted to talk about Toledo.
Yeah, no problem with Toledo. I mean, you
love Toledo.
Exactly. I have no idea what the Toledo reference is, but anyway, Mark with glasses keeps mentioning Toledo. I don't know. It must be an inside joke, but someone fill me in down the road or message me, Mark, because I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But anyway, hey, it's Ohio, right? You get a damn good football play out of Ohio, take him.
Yeah, I like him. He's one of my favorites. He's a lot of fun. Speaking of like a boundary receiver, how about Devin Fitzgerald is coming to campus, 6'2", 285 pounds. His dad was okay in the NFL. May have won a Super Bowl or something. Wait, who won that Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl? Oh, it was the Steelers.
Steelers won.
Did Larry Fitzgerald win a Super Bowl?
No, he was with Kurt Warner again.
Oh, shit, never mind. Hall of Famer. Larry Fitzgerald is a freak. It was one of my favorite receivers ever to watch. I forgot. Freaking Santonio Holmes, man. That was a great Super Bowl. Yeah, anyways, Notre Dame's recruiting Devin Fitzgerald. Recruited him very early. So this is like when they offered him a few weeks ago to a couple months ago now. Sorry, just wanted to go. Appreciate the super chat. Must ND recruits sign NDAs to visit? Like a non-disclosure agreement?
Non-disclosure agreement? I've never heard of that. Non-disclosure agreement? No, I mean, kids visit and they talk to, Mike and Kyle afterwards. So
yeah, just wanted to get maybe a little bit more context to share, but I really appreciate the super chat. She says correct. Yeah, no, that it's very much public. For sure. Yeah. So we're talking about these. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, public information. Well, I mean, if the kid doesn't have to say anything, but yeah, it gets out there. So from Phoenix Brophy Prep, which of course Notre Dame has landed Ben Morrison and Creed Thomas from 6'2", 285 pounds. The Irish have been talking to the kid for over a year now, hosted him for a few campus visits. And so when they offered, it wasn't like, oh, this is Notre Dame. We're in South Bend, Indiana. Like, no, he's already visited like 2 or 3 times. So 4-star by rivals, 3 by the rest. But this would be another good one for Notre Dame to take him. I would have no problem with this take, especially, yeah, you're freaking Larry Fitzgerald's son.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't leave like Urlacher's son after a year, we'll be okay, right? So there you go. But anyway, that's the first thing I thought about when you start thinking of all these dads and all that. But yeah, I mean, he's a solid football player. Damn good high school football program, Brophy Prep, one of the top ones in that state. So you're going to get is he a, I hate to use that word, possession type guy. I'm curious. I haven't looked up. I love to look up kids' track times. I haven't looked his up. So
I mean, wouldn't you have called Larry?
Is he a Jaden Thomas type guy who trustworthy, solid? He's going to play his butt off for you for 60 minutes each and every game. That type of thing. He's going to be a breakaway guy. I'm not sure. I haven't studied him enough, But when it comes to Notre Dame and wide receivers, man, you get a wide receiver, take them. So, I mean, if you got a guy that he competes like hell. That's one thing you notice on his film. Obviously, he gets that from his dad. So, and I do like the fact how you mentioned that he's been to Notre Dame a bunch, so he's very, very, prepared, well aware of that, and obviously he's got an ex-teammate in Cree Thomas to chat about.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where this one goes. Because I don't know, Notre Dame, and Kyle's been talking to Devin for us, so I haven't interacted with the kid myself yet, but yeah, I'm just not sure. Like UCLA, Michigan, like I don't know. Very interested to kind of hear how this visit goes, and like does he want to commit? Or I really don't have the strongest read on that recruitment. I feel really dumb about the Larry Fitzgerald calling him I'm
just real quick, Mike. Real quick. Wide receivers, Faison, Frazier. That's it, right? Just those two. So you got two slot type guys. So you need a boundary guy, a possession guy, a curl guy, guy to type get open. I'm thinking of Chris Mitchell.
Yeah.
Guy that runs the routes and all. I don't think he's going to be a go guy. You want to play action and try and hit the post on. I don't see him being that type of a guy.
Tim, I don't really want to dive into this for the sake of time, but we're talking a little off air before we went live. 30 seconds before 8:00, but. I feel like the angst and getting upset about Notre Dame recruiting is a reaction to someone committing elsewhere. But like you just talked about the receivers. Why are more people up in arms about wide receiver recruiting right now? Like if there's anything wide receiver recruiting, or like if you want to use historical stuff about like why Notre Dame's not winning national championships, interior defensive lineman is not the number one thing. It's the quarterback position. Riley Leonard was a really good quarterback. He had a lot going for him in different ways, but like Notre Dame, like that's the biggest glaring thing is quarterback. Like, but we don't really talk about that. I feel like as much. I don't know.
No, it's why I've always said it's wide receiver. You could win a national title with Will Howard. Why? Because he's throwing to freaks. I mean, so it's always to me wide receivers. It's always going to be about wide receivers.
Where did Will go in the draft? How high did he go?
5th, 6th round, right? Something like that. 6th round, I think.
Yeah, it helps when you're throwing to those guys for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, Ohio State too. I don't. How the hell did that team lose to Michigan? That's insane.
Michigan's just mentally tougher, and Oregon beat them by 1 because the clock ran out. If you ask me, so 10 more seconds, Ohio State wins that game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like it's a fair thing, but I'm like, well, dude, there's other things we can talk about. Not just D-line.
Real quick, you mentioned about wide receiver recruiting because Notre Dame fans are just numb. They just are numb.
No, Tim, we'll get there. If Caden Finley does not go to Notre Dame, we will get there. It's just a matter of time. Because, and then the D-line discussion, that'll be a thing of 8 years ago. We don't care about that anymore. It's all be about wide receivers.
Yeah, compounding. Now this is one of my favorite guys right here.
Yeah, Evan Jacobson from Waukee, Iowa. Number 226 overall player, number 12 tight end, 6'5.5", 230 pounds. I predicted him, to end up at Notre Dame a few weeks ago. Feel pretty good about that. And then Blue and Gold broke the news. Guys, I don't know which websites you're subscribed to in terms of the pay sites, but like if you want the recruiting intel, I mean, we Blue and Gold, we've just been crushing it. Like absolutely first on pretty much everything. It might be every once in a while. We're not first on something big, but pretty much like I'm going to toot our own horn because no one's going to toot it for us. Like Kyle and I think we dominate recruiting coverage right now on the Notre Dame beat. Maybe you disagree. You're wrong. I know. That's how I feel. So we put out this news the other day. Evan Jacobson moved his Notre Dame official visit from June 20th to June 13th, canceling Auburn and Florida State. So he's down to A&M, Notre Dame, and Iowa State. He's going to visit Notre Dame this weekend as a midweek setup with Iowa State next weekend, and then he'll commit probably in July. I think Notre Dame's got a pretty healthy lead here. I wouldn't be surprised if coming out of this weekend, Tim, Notre Dame knows who their 2 tight ends are going to be, and then we'll see what they would do with Ian Premer. But let's people are asking me, well, what do you do with Ian Premer then? Like, let's just see if both kids commit. Like, let's have that good discussion if that takes place. That's a great problem to have. We'll see, but let's see if these two kids commit first.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is. I love this guy's film. It's just a giant tight end. Once again, catch radius. That's what I'm hoping. We see this year out of with Eli Raridan, very much like Eli with the size. I mean, this dude's tall as could be. So definitely looks like a true 6'6", run over the middle. I mean, he's a stud. I mean, he is. It's funny because obviously people talked about Premer. I went back and I started watching some of these tight ends just to see who's who. Because Notre Dame, we obviously pride ourselves in Notre Dame and the tight ends and tight end U, all that stuff. Other schools, feel it's them in the recent era, which is cool. I get it because the NFL success that with some of the other schools is beating Notre Dame when it comes to NFL success, no doubt about it. But so Notre Dame fans are like, yeah, how come we can't get the top 5 tight ends in the country? We're tight end U. Because a lot, I mean, sometimes you get the guys like a Jacobson who just develops and ends up being like a Mitch Evans, Tommy Tremble, some of these guys. Brock Wright was obviously highly ranked. Komet was highly ranked. Jones was highly ranked. Eifert was not. So a lot of skills like him. I said he looks like Kyle Rudolph just because of the size. Rudolph was a 5-star. Rudolph was a freakazoid.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get the size wise, once again, just man, sometimes, I mean, especially last year, I screen, I do that, at times when you screen at the TV and you're just like, throw the ball to Mitch Evans, throw the ball to Eli Raridan. They're just big dudes, man. How do you cover those guys? How many times do we see Mitch Evans just put his hand up because he's just 3 inches taller than someone and grab the ball? So that's what I feel with Jacobson. So really, really excited for this guy. I know Notre Dame was on Ludwig, who went to Michigan. Athletically, I just love Jacobson. I really do.
Yeah,
I think he's a true bona fide top 10, upper 5, 6, 7 tight end in the country when you really break down a bunch of these guys.
Yeah, really good basketball player.
Yes. Oh,
as well, talking about his athleticism and just seems confident. I think him and Frizzell would pair pretty well together because Jacobson is that do-it-all, slot, H-back, inline. Like he can do everything. Frizzell more of your, what is her name? H-back, and which, as I say that, Jacobson's playing H-back right there. But yeah,
you could do anything with
Frizzell's more of your move tight end slot. You could put them in the boundary, like you do a lot of different things. So I think that would be like a pretty good tight end pairing.
That's real quick. Like Denbrock had Taylor, right? Mason Taylor, not Aaron Taylor, Jason Taylor play for him, who was same thing, not this big monster of a guy, but in between the hash marks, that modern day, you want to use that modern day NFL tight end type term. Rudolph had him, and you see these guys are recruiting. They kind of have that similar build that are true pass receiving guys.
Grayson McHugh from LaSalle College in Glenside, PA. Oh man, does Notre Dame want this kid bad in their 2026 class? 4 outstanding offensive linemen, but man, Notre Dame would love nothing more than to beat out Penn State for McHugh, 6'7", 280 pounds. Yeah, Notre Dame, Penn State. Man, the Nittany Lions and the Irish are going up for a lot of the same recruits. McHugh is a little bit of a late bloomer, but he's down to Notre Dame, Texas, and Penn State. That's his 3 OVs. And I think that this kid I think he's going to end up at Notre Dame. If the academics, if that is as big of a deal to that family as I'm told it is, I think he ends up at Notre Dame. I was told he did not really talk to a lot of coaches in May, didn't take any visits in May because of finals. Like he was locked in on his studies. Like that was such a big deal to him. That's a good sign, I feel like, for Notre Dame against Penn State. And then Texas offers, he sets up an OV the next day. He's really interested in, one of their school, business school or something. So I think that's a pretty good sign for the Irish that they'll be able to land this kid. But going up against Penn State for a PA kid is not easy.
Well, good. Hopefully, if they get him, they get O'Brien. They get 2 buddies from the same school coming together. Right? That would be awesome. No, he's definitely a guy that On the O-line, Mike, you could do the Tim Hyde philosophy. Go eat some mashed potatoes, eat your veggies, and we'll see you in 2.5 years in spring ball. That's what he is. I mean, he's definitely a guy who's going to keep growing, developing, long as heck. You know, you always hear that Joe Alt, because Joe Alt was a tight end, develop and all those types of, attributes that Joe had. But, raw at times, but violent as hell. This kid will just knock the living hell out of you. So, some technical things when you see his hands, elbows, some of the placement that he has, extension, locking arms out, all some of that good fun stuff O-line guys like to study. But right there, look at the pop and the power and the finish. Yes, definitely has it. You see some D-line stuff with him. So he's definitely, obviously an athlete that's able to play two ways. Some of the old guys, obviously, my homerism here as a California guy, I instantly thought of a guy named Chris Frome, who started at Notre Dame at DN at a Hart High School in Newhall, California. And Chris Frome was one of the best left tackles in the state of California. Absolute stud. He could have played offensive tackle in college, but he ended up playing DN. That's just where Notre Dame needed him at the time. So what I'm trying to say is freakish athlete. Chris played basketball, all those things. And you see the same thing with McHugh here as well. As far as a tall, lean athlete who's going to be a hell of a football player. He just keeps getting bigger, faster, stronger. A lot like Matty Augustine. Same type of thing. Matty Augustine was one of the biggest surprises in the blue and gold game. I did not know what to expect. And man, did he really surprise me, because I just thought he was skinny. Is he going to be strong enough? Is he going to be, we'll see you in 2 years. I see a lot of that with Grayson when it comes to athleticism, footwork that you got with Matty Augustine.
Yeah, saw Matty Augustine and Owen Streetbig hanging out at Irish Invasion. And
how tall are they?
Dude, just monstrous human beings. Owen Streetbig is huge.
Yes.
And Matty, I think Owen might have a little bit more like broader shoulders, so like makes him look bigger than Matty. But like, dude, Matty's huge as well.
They're so tall.
Cam Heron's built like a tank. Like that was my first time seeing Emil Wagner without pads on since he was a senior in high school. And his transformation, it's been what? That was fall of 2022 or something.
I mean, Mike, he did track. He was like 250 pounds when he was doing track after playing basketball. Remember we talked about that, Emil Wagner, like if he was 290 pounds as a senior, he's a consensus top 20 player in the country, but he was 250 pounds. So
three still ranked him as a 5.
No, they did, because you just saw his future athleticism. So Emil's definitely is, man, he's really built himself. But let's get to Joey here.
Joey O'Brien, 6'4", 180 pounds. Like I said earlier with Kari Adams, it's similar recruitment, similar part of the country. Notre Dame, Penn State, Oregon, all in the mix. O'Brien's got Clemson. I really could. I was gonna say I could see him at all 4 schools. I think Oregon. I don't see that. I think Oregon's fun. It's got flash. Janeling's an impressive recruiter and everything. Maybe maybe not when he's jumping into pools, but I don't see the East Coast kids, these two in particular, going to Oregon. I don't. Clemson, if you love the culture at Notre Dame, I could see you liking Clemson. I mean, Dabo and Marcus Freeman run the programs very. The culture feels the same, and what I know about that football program. And then Penn State's Penn State. I mean, if you're an in-state kid, they're always going to be contender. I truly do not know where this kid is leaning. I mean, I hear, man, Notre Dame's at the top. Then I hear Notre Dame's 4th. It just depends who you talk to. I don't know. I still think it comes down to Notre Dame and Penn State. I think those closest to him might prefer Notre Dame. So Joey visits Notre Dame this weekend and then commits on the 20th. And one of the biggest variables for me with Joey O'Brien, Tim, is does he sneak away in the middle of next week after his Notre Dame OV and go see Penn State one more time before taking an official visit? Very interested to see what happens there.
I am not interested in learning that, so please do not disclose that. That will not be cool. So, because he is, I mean, Andrew Gilmore, I saw posted this in the chat. He's the crown jewel. He's unbelievable athlete. He can do whatever the hell he wants. What do you want to play? I want to do this or that. He's super talented, super talented. He is how in the heck he's not a 5-star now. He should be. I don't even know what I've checked his rankings. Is he even by a couple services? He should be. Athletically, he is an SEC athlete. When you say that, you're just talking NFL type of pedigree, speed, athleticism, change of direction, his ability to plant, make plays, explosive point of attack. And then you watch his wide receiver play, and you're like, can we get that at Notre Dame? When was the last time we had a wide receiver catching balls like he does? So like Jay Carson, let him play both ways. Hell yeah, I don't care. Just go win. Help us win, okay? But put him inside the 20 and let him go do some jump balls out there. Just fantastic football player. Just, man, this is a big one. I love what you just said real quick about the culture, because obviously Dabo has it at Clemson. That's how he built it. That's why, kids go there and they sometimes just commit because they're just like, this place is awesome. I mean, they have an it factor, and Dabo knows how to recruit and sell his program and sell who he is and the vision and all that thing. So that's a great point about culture, because once again, why is Marcus Freeman here? Because Jack Swarbrick says he reminds me of Dabo and I'm going to hire and give him a shot. Dabo did it. What the hell? Let's let Freeman do it. So definitely culture is more family atmosphere. We're all in this together. I mean, guys are staying, right? Clemson's not losing.
Yeah, not doing 40. Not doing 40 portal guys in.
Exactly. Yeah. Freeman's not losing. I mean, we thought Freeman was going to lose 8-10 guys after spring. Who left? Nobody.
3.
But yeah, I don't even know who left. That's
hell of a quarterback.
Oh, God, that's right. I actually forgot about that guy. But anyway, so like I said, a bunch of backups left. But anyway, yeah. Look at that. Seriously, Mike, watching this film's a waste of time. Just get here. So curious to see, obviously, in this day and age, is that NIL, what is that? What's the factor? But come on, damn it. Notre Dame sells, right? The type of deals he could get at Notre Dame. I mean, who the hell's going to Happy Valley to go do NIL stuff? I mean, give me a break. Notre Dame, obviously a bigger brand. So I really hope he looks at that. And, you just keep going back with these DBs, these safeties. Look what Kyle Hamilton did. Look what Cam Hart did with their NIL. Benjamin Morrison, obviously, last year. Leonard Moore, obviously, moving forward. So it's massive for these guys. And Notre Dame sells. And I just hope these elite guys see that, what it could do for you down the road. So especially with the NIL down the road. And dude, he's a hell, man. He's just fun. Yeah, he's just a lot of fun. But this is a guy, I feel like we've heard about this guy forever. Correct? I mean, he's been a fan favorite for a long time.
Yeah. What's been interesting about Joey is that each visit he goes on, like when he talks about it afterwards, it seems like that school's become the leader. So to me, when push comes to shove, I don't know what it's gonna. If he sticks with that though, Notre Dame is the last visit, then that sounds great.
I'm one of those guys. Real quick on that, Mike. I'm one of those guys. I don't mind hearing that, because to me, that tells me he respects the hell out of coaches, respects the heck out of what programs offer. I think he loves football, and so he's going to all these football schools. Shit, I love this place. I think he's a football guy. I don't think he's not interested. He loves football. So when I hear that from certain players, and then you watch the film, you're like, man, this guy, he wants to compete, and he's going to schools that love to compete. And that's what's exciting about him.
All right. 2 more, Tim. Nick Reddish, Charlotte Independence, didn't have a junior season, had an injury that knocked him out. So not a highly ranked guy, really due to that. I mean, how are you going to get a really good sophomore year, but what are you going to move him up? I mean, you can't really do that with no film. But Notre Dame loves Nick Reddish. They would love to have him in this class. I logged a prediction for him a few months ago. I'll write more about him for our Blue and Gold subscribers and kind of where things are at with that recruitment. But definitely Irish got a good shot here. So this is sophomore film. Tim, what do you think about Nick Reddish?
I'll be honest, I haven't broken him down much, because it's the same thing. We're breaking down junior film, and here you are watching sophomore film. So it's just one of those things. It's keep recruiting guy, but I'm sure they've seen him work out after his injury. Really good ball skills. That's one thing you notice in some of these when the ball's in his hand. Definitely a solid playmaker. I mean, athletically, his sophomore film shows it. I mean, he was a pot of gold guy, I believe.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely one of those, it's a lot like Josh Adams at running back. Josh Adams missed a whole year. The entire country recruited him, goes to Notre Dame, and, runs for almost 1,500 yards his junior year. So Nick Reddish, athletically, super talented. Definitely a guy you could see, playing in the DB room. So I don't know much on him because it's hard to compare when you're trying to compare him to other guys ranked a lot because you're watching junior film and you're trying to compare that to his sophomore film. But I think if he was one of those guys who played as a junior, you're looking at probably a top 300-ish, blue chip type of athlete out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the way he hits. This first play of his.
He's not afraid. He's definitely not afraid.
Maybe it's the second play.
Yeah, there's one he goes in there. He's gonna go pop you. He's definitely a strong safety down in the box. Let's go play some football and get after you type of
play. He'll knock the living hell out of you.
Love it.
Last but not least, I don't know in football these days. Braden Robinson, absolute speedster from Red Oak, Texas. Got to see him in the spring when I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I thought he looked awesome. So, yeah, he's on the shorter side. He's 5'8". But would that be 3 guys under like 5'10" or 5'11" in the class?
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, dude, it's not like Notre Dame is going to go out next year and put out those three at receiver. You get the speed and you combine them with other classes and just get the most talented wide receivers. And you still need a big guy for sure. You don't want just slots, but they're not just taking 3 in this class. You don't got to worry about it. Braden Robinson, I have predicted it's Notre Dame. Don't love it. I don't know what's going to happen with wide receiver recruiting. I really don't know who the Irish are going to land. I could see them landing any of the guys they're after. I could see them missing out on all of them that they're after. Very, very productive in big-time ball in the state of Texas. I mean, if this isn't Jerry Domes, had to have been the national or the state championship game. So, kids are very talented and as fast as they come.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him, size, ability, special teams, all those things. Whenever I see players like this, I just always go back to C.J. Sanders, who is a return specialist slot for Notre Dame, and what was that, the 14, 15 years, 16, right in that, out of Notre Dame, Sherman Oaks. A really good special team player. Same type of athlete. Could play. Obviously, he's going to be a slot guy. He's so small to get out there. I've seen some of his workout videos. Super, super quick, man. But you're right. You're going to have 3 of those guys pretty much all in the same class. So spread them out. Yeah, exactly. You spread them out. You find out things to do. But he's without a doubt a special team type guy. Yes, definitely a return game guy because of his just open field, playmaking ability.
15 touchdowns, 1,400 receiving yards. His dad is the head coach at Red Oak, so son of a ball coach. You love that. He's just a player. He's just a ball player. Like, he's small, but kid's tough. I think he played some running back as well. Just kind of do it all. I like Braden Robinson. I think that he would be a really good get for the Irish.
I mean, Chris Tyree was a true tailback, but size-wise, special team-wise, if Chris Tyree was a slot his whole time, he probably would have tore it up at Notre Dame. So you're looking at him and, once again, going back to return-type guy, that Chris Tyree, smallish, but get the ball, and he's going to make some, havoc out there in the open field at times.
Yeah. All right. I'm tired, Sam. Are you tired?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go get some food. So let's go.
I'm gonna keep working and go to bed. So
welcome to life.
That's gonna do it for this show, folks. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel if you are new here. Fun show today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Talking some Notre Dame football recruiting, little arguments, little agreements, fun stuff. All love at the end of the day. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Next live show will be Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be talking some Notre Dame recruiting with Kyle Kelly and don't hold me to it, but Steve Wiltfong from On3 should be joining us also. So that'll be a good time to get some more insider discussion on these big Notre Dame targets before the weekend for the OVs. Appreciate you all, and as always, we'll catch you next time. What?
Go.
All right, catch you guys next time.